Whether you are joining us live here in Kona or tuning in from around the globe, you are very welcome to our pre-race professional athlete press conference ahead of the historic and inaugural Women's VinFast IRONMAN World Championship. My name is Joanne Murphy and I have the privilege of facilitating this morning's professional panel discussion. Thank you. Excitement is building here in Kona and beyond as we get ready for an epic day of racing on Saturday, where over 2,000 of the world's best triathletes will toe the start line in the bay behind me. In a few moments, we will hear from the President and CEO of the Ironman Group, Andrew Messick, and then we will introduce to you our professional athlete panel for this morning. We will open the panel up to audience questions, both live here in Kona at the press conference, and of course you can submit your questions as well through our social media channels, and I believe it is being streamed on YouTube as well, so I will be keeping an eye on this. And so, to get us underway, I would now like to invite the President and CEO of the Ironman Group, Andrew Messick, to please say a few words.
Thank you, Joanne, and welcome, everyone. A year ago, I stood here and talked about the very first two-day World Championship here in Kona, and spoke looking forward to 2023, in which we promised women were going to have their own day of racing. Well, here we are. It did not unfold the way we originally expected. I think that's fair to say. But necessity is the mother of invention, and we proved that in this last 12 months. So we're thrilled that we have 2,200 of the best women's triathletes in the world racing this Saturday. We're excited that the professional athletes that are going to take center stage in just a few minutes are here with us, and we are unbelievably proud of everybody who was prepared to take the journey with us towards something that's really unprecedented, which is a one-day women's only world championship here in Kailua Kona. From the professional athlete side, a lot has been discussed and a lot's been written, but I think we all agree that that this is as strong a field as perhaps has ever been assembled. And we're all looking forward to seeing which one of these women will, in fact, become the next Ironman World Champion. It's been a really eventful week as well. We announced yesterday the Ironman Pro Series, which we think will be an exciting and compelling addition to next year's race calendar, and will provide many of these athletes and many, many others with a lot of opportunities to optimize their racing calendars next year. So without further ado, I just want to thank everybody for coming with us on this journey, and we're looking forward to Saturday. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, let's get ready to welcome your professional athletes to this morning's press conference. Having enjoyed a top 5 finish on debut on the island in 2017, she is your 2023 Ironman European Champion representing the United States of America. Please welcome Sarah True. She finished in second place at the 2021 Ironman World Championship. She also finished in second place at the VinFast IRONMAN 70.3 World Championship in Lahti in August. Winner of Ironman Texas this year, please welcome Kat Matthews from the United Kingdom. In 2022, she won all 3 Ironman events in Australia. She has had 2 third-place finishes at the 2017 and 29 editions of the Ironman World Championship. Representing Australia, please welcome Sarah Crowley. Coming off the back of her fantastic win at Ironman Sweden this year, your Olympic silver medalist from London 2012. In her first outing on the Big Island last year, she finished in 5th place. Please welcome Lisa Norden from Sweden. Your reigning Ironman Africa champion and European Ironman 70.3 champion with 2 4th place finishes at the Ironman World Championship. Please welcome Germany's Laura Philipp. She is your 2-time Ironman 70.3 world champion, taking on her very first Ironman in Kona this weekend. Please welcome Taylor Knibb from the USA. She is a 5-time Ironman 70.3 world champion and a 5-time Ironman world champion. Representing Switzerland, please welcome Daniela Rief. A 2-time 3rd place finisher at the Ironman World Championship and your 2019 Ironman World Champion. Please welcome Germany's Anna Haug. Your 2021 Ironman 70.3 World Champion, 2022 World Triathlon Long Distance World Champion. She has finished in 2nd place on 4 occasions on the Big Island. Please welcome Lucy Charles Barkley from the United Kingdom. She is your 2022 VinFast IRONMAN World Champion. Please welcome Chelsea Sodaro from the United States of America. Well, good morning. How are we? We're good? Are we thumbs up? Are we happy? Okay, good. Well, we are going to get straight into your questions this morning. And Sarah, if it's okay, I'm going to start with you first because you're the closest to me. Sarah, you are the European Ironman champion this year. Has that success bolstered your confidence coming into racing in Hawaii this year?
I would say it's bolstered my confidence about racing the European Championship, but this is a totally different race. Yeah, a little different conditions than you get in Germany. But I think, we went into this year not knowing how I could balance things outside of sport, and it's really nice to come into this championship race with a solid result under my belt.
Fantastic. And you did say, I believe, that this Kona build has looked a bit different to previous times. What has been different about this year in particular?
Well, I'll put it this way. Tomorrow I have a research paper due.
Oh, God.
That I'm only 2 pages into, and it's 7 pages. And that's where my brain is right now. And I have a 2-year-old back in the place, and somehow I have to manage both those things and a race on Saturday. But at least I don't have to babysit on Saturday or write a paper for 9 hours. So I've got that going in my corner.
My final question, Sarah, you mentioned last year that a happy athlete is a faster athlete. Every time I see you, you are smiling. Are you happy coming into this race despite the research paper that you have to do?
I absolutely love this sport. I have a great time. I wouldn't be still racing if I didn't enjoy it. I would probably just be doing the full-time student thing, but I love being able to play triathlon, and playing triathlon against the best. It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Sarah True. We are going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum and over to Kat Matthews. And Kat, I was just thinking during the week, I can't believe you are racing for the very first time here in Kona this year. You've had a roller coaster of a season. I'm not going to start, or a roller coaster of a year. I'm not going to start with that. But what I am going to start with is your 2nd place finish in Lahti. You said it gave you much more confidence across swim, bike, and run. Is that confidence still there? And how has your Kona prep gone for this year?
Thank you for the sidetrack. We avoided some welling up.
It's okay.
Lahti's performance gave me real confidence. I was still 4 minutes behind Taylor Knibb, so still a lot of work to be done at the weekend. But yeah, great swim for me, a solid bike, and a PB run. So it was a real nice performance bonus based off the training that I've been doing this summer.
Now, I really don't want to make you cry, but I do have to ask you, how does it now feel to be here 2 days out from racing, considering the position you were in this time last year?
Signing my name on the list of these incredible athletes that I'm joined here with was a pretty big moment, considering that that was a focus for me last year, that I was the only name not able to sign in. So it feels still a little bit emotionally challenging, but I'm getting all that out the way, so I'll be totally fine on race day. It feels pretty spectacular. Thank you.
Do you mind if I ask you how you're pushing that emotional challenge aside between now and race day? Because it is a huge emotional challenge for everybody, but especially for you.
I'm vibing off the incredible emotions and positivity of this stage.
Fantastic. And to be fair, on Instagram, every time I've seen you, you have been smiling and embracing everything that has been going on in the island. So thank you so much, Kat Matthews. We are thrilled to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
We now move to Australia. Sarah Crowley, how are you doing?
Very good. It's great to be here.
Good. Now, Sarah, you had a very bad bike crash earlier this year. You're here, you're fit, you're healthy. How has your preparation gone for Saturday on the back of that bike crash and your recovery?
Yeah, they say things kind of all happen in threes, and I've had a few things happen, maybe more like 5 things this year that have been a little bit disruptive, but I think it's a testament to my team that we've just pushed through. And like, I think triathlon's about overcoming, and you use all those skills that you use on race day and just every day. So we're here. The last 8 weeks has been super positive, and I think you stick to the fundamentals and chip away, and then you start to see the momentum shift, and that's what's been good about the last perhaps 3 or 4 weeks. And it's been very challenging. It's probably one of the hardest periods of time in my career that I've had. And Kat knows this, it's like, you've got to reassess what your goals are and what you want to achieve out of a session when you can't reach the targets that you've, expect to achieve. And but then as you chip away, you get closer to it, and it's just a privilege. And it really does mean that when you're here, you do appreciate the level of competition and the fact that you're actually at it. And yeah, I'm just so proud to be racing on Saturday in a women's only event.
Fantastic. In terms of the podium, you've finished on the podium twice here in the last 5 years. What do you think will it take to get on the podium again on Saturday?
I mean, we've seen the level rising really rapidly particularly over the last 2 or 3 years. But I mean, the level of the swim has really improved dramatically. And I think instead of having 1 or 2 women sort of out, in a very sporadic, spread out race, and I think it's going to be more like what we see with the men's race, where it's a larger group. And so I think you probably need to be there off the bike, and then it comes down to grit and determination, and anything can happen in this heat and the conditions of the day with the level of competition. So I wish everyone all the best. It's so good to be part of such a strong field.
Fantastic. And there is no shortage of courage, grit and determination amongst any of our female professionals with us this afternoon. Thank you so much, Sarah. We move now on to Lisa Norden. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you.
You're feeling good?
Of course. How can I not feel good to be here in this company?
Another one of our athletes who is continuously smiling. Let's bring us back to your impressive home win at Ironman Kalmar this year. How are you feeling after that race now, coming here to the Big Island? A very special moment for you, winning on home ground.
Yeah, I think for me, being Swedish, I don't get that opportunity very often. I had it twice. It was the WTS race in Stockholm, and it was Kalmar, and probably about 10 years in between. So it's a moment that I really savored, and everyone told me before that Kalmar is a very special Ironman and I should definitely do it. And maybe I was a bit, I've done the Olympic Games and World Champs, and how cool can Kalmar be? It's a Swedish Ironman. But it absolutely blew me apart. The emotions and the support, that crowd, if you ever want to do an Ironman, I can definitely vouch for Kalmar. It was absolutely incredible. I didn't decide, Kalmar was definitely not on my plan in the beginning of the year. And I was a bit doubtful on how I would recover, because it's pretty close to Kona. And it was definitely like a different Ironman where I didn't have a break after. I didn't, feel like I finished something to then start over, but I had to continue and bring that shape forward. And it's been a really interesting phase and a very good training block back home.
You mentioned there that it's been an interesting phase. You were 5th last year at the Ironman World Championship, and you've also mentioned recently as well that you've had one of your best training blocks ever, and you feel the fittest you've been since 2012. What have you changed? That's a long time ago.
Last time when I was here, Kona was my 4th ever full distance Ironman race. This time around, it's my 8th. So I feel like I gathered a lot of experience, a lot of race experience, and also a lot of training experience. I have a new coach set up back home, which is a Swedish setup that I work with very closely on day-to-day basis. And I invested a lot of time in rebuilding my body over winter and not doing so much running, biking, and swimming, but really focusing on the demands that my body needs to be able to handle on race day. When you're a little bit older, it's not just like finding more and more, how can I train more? It's to find how can I train better, how can my body function better? And it's been a super interesting path to go, a bit nerve-wracking because it's not so much swim, bike and run, but really cool to see how the body comes around and I feel stronger and fitter.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to seeing you race on Saturday. Let's give her a round of applause, Lisa Norden. We move now to Germany's Laura Philipp.
Hello.
Hello. Another athlete who is always smiling. An Ironman and an Ironman 70.3 win and an Ironman 70.3 European Championship title so far this year. How would it feel to add an Ironman World Championship title to that list?
Well, if I look around who is sitting next to me, then it would definitely feel unreal. But of course, that would be the biggest dream come true. And a big reward for all the work I'm putting in and day out. But I guess I'm not the only one. It would mean to be the best athlete on that day, and that would be special for sure.
Earlier this week, you mentioned how cool it was to be training with primarily women on the Queen K and throughout the island. How do you think it will feel on race day with only women on the course?
Yeah, I think it feels special already. I think, for us it feels great to be surrounded by so much female power. That's something that we are not used to in triathlon, I guess. Also, often in training, we are accompanied by men, which is great, of course. They also help us so much to get better and believe in us. I think we also deserve the full focus, and I'm really looking forward to share the course with more than 2,000 amazing ladies.
Well, we wish you the best of luck also on Saturday. We move now to Taylor Knibb. Good morning, Taylor.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you feeling being on the island? Huge decision to race your very first Ironman in Kona with the eyes of the world on this race on Saturday.
Well, I don't know how huge of a decision it was. It was just kind of like it felt right. This is the race that is the reason why I started the sport, and I love this sport, and it's taken me to a lot of different races, and so to have the opportunity to race this, it's very special.
Fantastic. And I want to ask you, Taylor, you really are going into the unknown. You've never run a marathon, you've never done an Ironman. So what will be your definition of success on Saturday?
Well, I don't know. I think I still have to figure that out because I think I have some process goals, but it's also, I feel like a theme, what I've heard, and I don't know because I've never done an Ironman, is overcoming challenges. And it's just, you can't predict what challenges will occur. I mean, I watched the broadcast and you saw Norman Sadler in 2004 and 2006 dominate. And in 2005, he had a flat tire. So there are just so many things you can't control. And so what challenges arise? How do I overcome them? I think that's kind of the measure of success for me.
And my final question is, your mum is also racing on Saturday as well, I believe. How special will that be to be in the same race as your mum, with you competing in your very first Ironman race with us?
Well, it's incredibly special. I know she's very, very nervous for me, but she made me promise her. She's like, okay, Taylor, she's like, if anything happens to you and you don't finish, like, I really don't want to be a bad mom if I go and finish my race. So please, can we promise to each other that regardless of what happens, we can each finish our races? And I'm like, of course, I wasn't really thinking about that, but I don't know what it's like to be a mother, so I don't know what it's like for her seeing it, but she claims it's going to be her last Ironman, so to be able to like share the course with her last Ironman and my first Ironman, it's not a passing of the torch, but in a way it is.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's very beautiful. So the very best of luck to you as well. Taylor Knibb, ladies and gentlemen. We move from someone who's never done an Ironman before to our 5-time Ironman World Champion, Daniela Ryf. Welcome to Kona once again. It's fantastic to have you with us. You've raced here multiple times. You've won here multiple times. How important is that level of experience going into the race on Saturday, considering the depth of field we have with us for Saturday?
You know, I think experience can be helpful, but also I know how I raced here the first time, and I think sometimes it's also good to just not think too much. So I still try to remember myself on that first race, and I think I definitely feel like I'm learned a lot through these years, but it can also scare you to know how hard it is. So yeah, enjoy it, Taylor. I think the first one is pretty special, and yeah, it's funny because she was mentioning actually that she hopes to get a photo with me in the race, and we raced each other 2 times so far, and she bet me twice by far, so I actually hope I can get a picture with her.
Oh, I absolutely love it, and I love the camaraderie between our athletes as well. But what would it mean to you, Daniela, to take a 6th World Championship title? You would match what has been done already by Natasha Badman, Mark Allen, Dave Scott. It would be incredible.
Yeah, to be honest, I try not to think about this too much. Of course, it would be a huge honor to, join that club. They're all amazing athletes, and what they've done for the sport is, it's pretty special. And still, I think what's more important to me is that I can have a race where I feel I can be proud of and where I can go hard. And I haven't had that the last 2 times I raced here. I was like not having my best days, and I feel that's what I kind of hope to be able to go hard. And if you then finish first against these amazing ladies, I think that's the feeling. And it's not about how many titles. I think it's each race to me is like a picture, and you want to create that amazing picture, and every race is different, and I think it will be anyway a new experience, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, we also wish you the very best of luck, Daniela Ryf. We move now on to Lucy. Lucy, where's Lucy? Lucy's in the middle. Hi, Lucy.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you.
It's good to see you up here with us as well today. How has your training coming into this year's World Championship been? You did have a fractured metatarsal earlier in the year, so talk us through how your preparation for Kona has gone.
Yeah, I guess moving past the injury, I've had a really good training block. We opted to train in the UK this time, which is different to what I've done in years before. But it was just nice to have a solid block, be with the dogs, just be at home. And yeah, I feel really confident in the training that I've done, and hopefully that's going to show on race day.
We have a really strong field of athletes. There's much talk about it being one of the strongest field of female athletes ever in the history of the event. We have a lot of very strong swimmers. How do you think that will affect your race on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be probably the toughest race we've had or that I've done on the island. Obviously, the conditions play into it, but definitely the stellar field that we have this year is going to be, I think, the biggest factor on the day. And having strong athletes across all the disciplines, I feel like you're just going to have to put on the best day that you can across every discipline of the race and just see how you end up at the end.
You have crossed the finish line in 2nd place 4 times. That must fill you with so much pride, but also fill you with so much passion to be the person to break the tape on the World Championship stage.
Yeah, I try not to think about it too much. I mean, every single race I've done here has been completely different, and I've been really proud of each of the results that I've had on the island, and I've always had to dig in super deep towards the end just to get that 2nd place finish. So I don't know what's going to happen this year. I'm trying not to think about a position or an outcome goal, but just delivering the best performance that I can. And I've been doing so well in training. I just hope I can show that on race day.
Fantastic. Well done. I do believe I skipped over Anna Haug. I am so sorry, Anna. I see you have the microphone there. 2 back-to-back 3rd places. What would it mean to you to have a replay of 2019 and top the podium again?
Yeah, I think like everyone said, it would be a dream come true, and every race is different, and I think we see that the sports develops and more athletes come in, and the quality is just so amazing that we have so many potential athletes who can win this race that you would need an absolute perfect race to be on top of everyone. So I hope, like everyone else, to be able to show what I've done in training, and that the gods, Hawaiian gods, are nice to me. So I think I'm well prepared and hope for the best.
And coming into T2 on Saturday, what position would you hope to be in? You are known for having a super fast run. So what would be the ideal situation coming into T2 on Saturday?
Ideal would always be to come there first, but it's quite unrealistic, I would say. So I have to see what I can do. And I mean, it's like I always said, triathlon is one sport. It's not swimming, biking, running. So every discipline has influence on the other disciplines. And especially in a World Championship race where it's like a lot of tactics involved as well. And the quality of field is so strong that you maybe have to cycle a bit harder to stay in a pack or come into pack, so you're not on your own outside. So that will definitely have an influence on the run in the end. But by all this, you always have to race smart, and think ahead of the end, because the conditions are just brutal, and a race is normally over after the run, and that can be damn long here.
Absolutely. Well, the best of luck to you as we now move into your reigning world champion. Thank you so much, Anna Haug. Chelsea Sodaro, reigning world champion. How does that feel sitting here this morning?
Yeah, I don't think that ever gets old, and this is my first time being invited to the Ironman World Championship press conference, so I'm pretty happy to be here.
I love it. You mentioned that your life has changed since becoming the 2022 VinFast IRONMAN World Champion. Will you share with us how your life has changed?
Yeah, I didn't realize how many... I knew this race was a big deal, and of course you feel it when you're here, but I didn't realize how many people cared about the title and how it really transcends triathlon. I have been talking all this week about how I come from a very service-minded family, and I'm an athlete, which can be a very selfish pursuit. And I said to my husband after the race, I really want to do something good with this. And I love triathlon. I happen to be pretty good at swimming and biking all together, but I believe in the power of sport, and I believe that it brings us all together, and it teaches us so much about ourselves and each other. And I've been so fortunate to have such amazing partners, and they've really rallied with me to celebrate women's sport and do more than just talk about the end result. So I feel really fortunate, and I'm super proud.
Fantastic. Well, we're also very super proud of you as well. I would like to ask you, are you looking forward to race day? Or is the defending champion title, does that add additional pressure?
Of course, there's always extra pressure when you're defending a title, but I got into this because I wanted to test myself, and I wanted to see what was possible for my body and mind. And of course, winning is really fun, but this is more of a personal challenge for me, and I put so much work into my preparation, and my team put so much work into my preparation, and it's really just about going out there and doing my best and seeing what's possible.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations for being on our pro panel as our defending world champion. We are now finished with our questions from me for the moment. But we do have some additional questions from our social media, which I am going to go through before I open the floor up to our gathered media here with us. Peter K. Bell says, to all the women watching at home, what advice would you give on how to take your first steps into triathlon? And we'll see who has the microphone. Anne Haug, would you like to answer that question? So what advice would you give to our female triathletes at home who maybe are looking to step up into racing and into Ironman?
I think the first step is always if you have good company and if you have really fun on it, because triathlon is an endurance sport. It lives from regular training, and if you're not
happy with what you're doing, and if you not join a nice club or whatever and you don't have fun, that it can be a burden, but it should be fun. And yeah, watch out for a great club, for great people, and yeah, just enjoy going out and have an outdoor sport.
Fantastic, thank you so much. The Fonganate, the _Fonganator, Chelsea, you also have a microphone and you're our defending champion, so I'm going to ask you this question. Who is your underdog pick for the top 10? No pressure.
I don't comment as a policy on my fellow competitors and where they're going to finish. I just bet on myself and see how things unfold.
You know, if you ever give up sport, you could be a politician. That was a great answer. I'm going to ask Lucy Charles Barkley the next question because Leon Benninger would like to know, are you getting another dog if you win?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Do your mum and dad?
I think I'll get anything.
Do your mum and dad know about this?
My mum and dad will definitely say no because they've got my 2 dogs currently, and I know they want a dog of their own, but I don't think they want 3 at once. So, yeah, we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. Taylor Nibb, this one came in specifically for you. It's from Yuri_Sheldon08. Do you think you will be able to hold the pace on a marathon?
Well, it depends on what pace you're holding.
I didn't write these questions.
If it's a walking pace, I hope so. But again, I really, really don't know. It's uncharted territory for me. And one of my favorite things is doing things that I've never done before. And in one case, that can be going faster, but in another case, that can be going longer. So I'm not sure what pace he wants to know, or she.
Okay, the next one, Daniela, I'm going to come to you for this one if that's okay, and it's from the .b.squared.boys. Do you still get nervous before a race?
Yeah, I think the time where you don't get nervous anymore, you're done, because I think that's what it's all about. Racing is about getting excited, and I feel like for me, having the nerves always make me, find that extra gear as well. So I still get nervous. I think it's a good thing.
I think so too. Well, thank you so much to everybody who has submitted questions on social. We may get back to those later, but first we are going to open the floor to our gathered media. When we ask you when you would like to state your question, we'd ask you to state your name, the media outlet, and then your question. And we do have handheld microphones for you as well. So if you'd like to raise your hand, yes, please, in the second row there. Once again, please state your name, your media outlet, and then your question.
Hi, guys. Jordan Blanco with Pro Tri News. Ironman made a pretty big announcement yesterday with the introduction of the Pro Series for next year. I'd love to get some of the athletes' thoughts on that series and whether they're interested in being part of it. So, like, maybe Chelsea, Kat, and Daniela.
I have already answered this question. I think we all have multiple times. It's probably all over social media already, and I'm sure I speak for everybody on this stage saying that we couldn't be more excited about it. Speaking just for me, because I wouldn't want to assume, I have, like I just said, never been more excited about a professional year of racing in the sport as I am about next year, and that's saying a lot considering that the ultimate race is in 2 days' time. So I think Ironman is always at the forefront of the sport. It always has been, and it continues to be, and it has now shown us yesterday that it is still always at the front and adapting and delivering what we need as professional athletes. So thank you, Ironman.
Would anybody else like to answer the question?
I think it's always a great thing when there's more money coming into the professional side of the sport. As you can see, these women are so incredibly phenomenal, and we deserve to have proper compensation and opportunity in what we do. So I think it's fabulous news, and I'm really excited to see the level continue to raise.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can add much more. To be honest, I have had not the headspace to even think about next year yet. So my head is just for Saturday. That's all I think at the moment.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the question. Please raise your hand if you would like to ask a question from our gathered media. The lady in the front. Once again, please state your name, your media outlet, and then your question. Thank you.
Hello.
I'm Tiffany DeMasters, and I work for Big Island now. And my question is, what has Julie Moss meant to the Kona World Championship?
Anyone in particular for that question?
I can actually answer that if it's okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
Sarah Crowley.
So I was actually at a function the other day where Julie spoke, and I think as a female athlete, I think, you know, and also growing up as a young female, I think you see the stories of Julie Moss, and as you're growing up, you don't realise that it has sort of carved a pathway for women in sport, and it's actually put this race on the map. And so it's amazing to be sitting here, you know, in my career, having the opportunity to put something out to the world where we get to race as women on the stage that Julie almost set up, you know, 40 years ago. And so, yeah, I think she's definitely a pioneer of the sport that we was very grateful for, and started this whole process of getting us here to where we are today.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for your question. Anybody else? Yes?
Hi, I'm Michelle Bandor from KCRA TV in Sacramento. My question is for Chelsea, but I wanted to say all of you women are very inspirational, and we appreciate that. But Chelsea, you really have been inspirational to mothers. And I even met a couple women racing age groupers who were, you know, pumping their milk while they were on the bike and throwing the bottles out to their husbands waiting. So what encouragement do you have to women who think, oh, I just had a baby, I can't do this? Or how do I, you know, balance my time with my family and make sure I'm, you know, devoting enough time to my family? And so if you could give some, you know, if you could answer that for mothers out there.
I just have to say that I am so inspired, especially by the amateur women who are choosing motherhood and choosing themselves and taking on hardcore careers and managing their family and carving out a little bit of time and space for themselves. What we do, of course, is remarkable, but for most of us, our full-time job is performance. And so what they do is truly, truly remarkable. I would like to do a little plug here, actually. My sponsor, Canyon, has done this beautiful bike for me. It's called the Rainbow Explosion Bike. And it's in homage to my title last year, but we are also partnering with a company called And Mother. And there's an And Mother logo on the bike, and we're doing this special sweepstakes where you can actually enter to win my Kona race bike. And I wanted to do something really special with the race bike because there's so much attention on our machines, and I thought we could draw attention to a really great cause. And what And Mother does is they give grants to postpartum female athletes, they advocate in Congress for maternal rights, and they also do incredible work like getting lactation stations and childcare at events. So my dream is that in the future, maybe even at Ironman races, we'll have things like lactation stations in transition. We'll have maybe free childcare to make this sport more accessible for women. We have an equity problem in this sport. As we know, there are way more men competing than there are women, and I don't think that's because women don't want to compete. I think it's because they don't have access to all of the things that they need in order to participate in this beautiful sport, and that's something that we really need to work on.
Thank you, Chelsea. Sarah, would you like to jump in on that answer as well, with motherhood and how you manage your training and your racing, your role as a full-time mom and as a full-time athlete?
Yeah, I think probably my schedule is more similar to the average amateur racer here than it is to the other pros. You know, I'm a full-time student, full-time mother, and full-time pro triathlete. Add those hours together and it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think, you know, it is possible to do Ironman and be a working mom, but it does mean asking your partner for help. It does mean early hours and trying to do more with less time. So you may not have, you know, 30 hours to train a week, but if you can carve out little bits of time, it's absolutely possible to do Ironman and to get good results. You also have to be incredibly organized, which I am not, and you learn that very quickly.
Don't forget about that research paper tomorrow. Have we any more questions from our gathered media? Yes, please.
Catherine Taylor with Feisty Media, and we've seen that 2023 has been a massive year for women's sports. both with viewership and the conversation around equity. What do you hope this women's only race brings to the table with that?
They're all passing the microphone off. Catherine, have you a particular athlete you would like to direct that question to? Taylor?
I'm heading on Tuesday. I don't even go home, but I head directly to Lidl Trek Camp, where I don't know anyone in the industry who watches the Tour de France, and then we could watch that and none of us here could compete in that or anything close to that. And then there was the slogan to watch the femmes, and that's still different. But even the UCI, the minimum salaries are different for men and women. So I think that they're different sports, and triathlon is still doing very well. And I think we need to celebrate that. And I'm hoping that seeing, like Chelsea was saying, there's still a lot of inequity, but we have it. Thank you to all the sponsors and everyone here who still makes it possible to be very good and making a lot of progress, and hopefully a model for other sports in the world.
Thank you, Taylor. I think we have time for one more question from our gathered media.
Hi, Brad Williams from Slow Twitch. Chelsea and Sarah, you guys are the two mothers on the race course, and it's great to see that this weekend. How powerful is it to see your kids while racing? And Chelsea, you talk a lot about inspiring the future generation of young women on the race course, and you're very passionate about that, so it's great to see all of you have that stage this weekend to be able to do that on the biggest stage in triathlon. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about that?
I guess to speak to your second point, I'm sure that most of my competitors are really tired of me talking about the mom thing. But I talk about it because I want the world, I want sport to be a better place for my daughter, so that she doesn't have to negotiate so hard and advocate so hard for herself when she's signing contracts and she's trying to have a baby and she wants a little bit of maternity leave. So that's why I talk about the things that I do. To speak to your first question, I try not to think about my daughter actually during the race, because I am in work mode and I'm really trying to be present on what I'm doing. And so thinking about her makes me emotional and pretty mushy, which I don't want to be when I'm competing. Of course, when I was running the last 10K of the race last year, there were all these women and moms yelling at me, "Do it for Sky, do it for the moms." And I was like, shut it out, turn it off. So I'm really trying to be, full on focus in race mode, and then seeing her at the finish line is the ultimate trophy.
Thank you, Chelsea. Sarah, do you want to come in there also?
Yeah, I will say there are quite a few moms in the fields. We're just two of them. I think it's really important to recognize that, as the sport gets more professional, as there are more financial opportunities for athletes, hopefully we'll see more women who are able to balance, being professional athlete along with motherhood. We can see that in other careers. This should be the same type of career. You've seen far too many women in their peak choose to opt out of professional sport because they don't have the support they need to continue doing sport and being a mom. But we've seen in soccer, we've seen in all these other professional sports, more opportunities for women to do both. I would love to see no woman have to choose between those things, because I think at this point in 2023, I'd like to think that we can financially support and give resources to women who choose to do both.
And Chelsea, just thank you for speaking up for young women and for women's sport, because as a father of two young daughters, please don't stop talking about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Kevin, I think, did you want to ask it? No? Yeah.
Thanks, Joanne. I'll just ask one last question of Taylor, if I could. Taylor, why was it so important to be here this year? You've got the Olympics next year, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering why on earth you're taking on your first Ironman while also preparing for the Olympics. Why was 2023 Kona so important to you?
Well, I think when I was watching this race growing up, I thought it would always be here. And we know the race is going to be here in 2023 and 2025, but that's all we've been announced. And so if 2025 is the last time the women race on this island, I definitely want to be a part of it. Chelsea showed something different, but for everyone else, like, it's very hard to perform here as a rookie. And so if I want to have a good race here in 2025, that was kind of my thinking and preparing, because hopefully 2025 I can prepare. But if this race doesn't happen on this island ever again, I really want to be a part of it in 2025.
Thank you, Taylor. I know that John Levison from Tri247 can't be here with us. He is watching from at home in the United Kingdom, and he has a couple of questions, but I'm just going to pick one. And Anna, how that is for you. Such is the quality of runners on show, do you think the run course record will be broken, potentially by several athletes? And how fast do you think you can go?
That's a good question. I think for sure there's a lot of potential here. Be able to run really sub 251, I think. Yeah, but you know, 250. Oh, 250. Yeah, I mean, but like I said, it all depends how the race involves, and I think we see it in ITU that the run times doesn't step up so much like the swim times and bike times. So if the swim is just crucial and the bike is so fast, then maybe we can't break the record. But yeah, we will think we have to wait for Saturday. And if you manage to jump off the bike a little bit fresher than normal, then for sure it's possible.
Okay, thank you so much. Have we any more questions from our gathered media here with us this morning? I think we have one more. Kelly.
Hi. Last year, the penalties played a pretty important role in changing the race dynamics, and I'm wondering if you all are thinking about that and it's going to change how you race. And I'll go ahead and say, Laura, do you want to answer that?
It's actually 3 of us, I think, sitting up here. But can you please repeat the question?
Are you considering the possibility of penalties when you go into the race dynamics this weekend? Is it going to change how you race?
Well, I never did until last year's race, so that was my first one and the first experience also of handling it mentally, and it was definitely tough. But now I know it can happen, and maybe I'm better prepared if it does happen. But of course, my number one goal is not to stop during the bike leg, and hopefully I will show the refs that I'm a fair athlete and I don't try to cheat and deserve a penalty. So yeah, hopefully nobody will get one, as I think we all want fair racing.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Kelly from Feisty Media. Do we have any more questions? And if not, we are now going to conclude our professional female athlete press conference. I would like to ask, before our athletes leave, if you could please stand up for a group photograph. And let's give them all a big round of applause. We're delighted to have them with us today. Sarah True, Kat Matthews, Sarah Crowley, Lisa Norden, Laura Phillip, Taylor Knibb, Daniela Reef, Anna Haug, Lucy Charles Barkley, and Chelsea Sodaro.